Mr. MP Mal is the chairman of IRCTC and now joins in on the show. Good to have you on board. And, during the quarter, we have seen the train operations that have come to a virtual standstill, with the government allowing just a few trains to run, and that too in the later stages of the lockdown. And that has, of course, heavily impacted your earnings. Give us a sense as to what the last 6 months have been like for IRCTC.
In last 6 months, pre-COVID, things were okay, but it had started affecting our business maybe second half of February onwards. Because then business came to standstill. Now, you see, first phase, 15 pair of trains were started. Then another 100 pair were introduced. And till August end, we had reached a ticketing level of about 2 lakh tickets per day on an average. So that was as far as ticketing is concerned. And once this 40 more pairs were started on 12th, for which booking started on 10th. So there was a surge in ticketing, and on 10th, first day when the ticketing started, the volume was almost 5 lakh tickets. But of course, it was abnormally high because of two factors: that it covered advance reservation of 120 days. And this period covers festive seasons also. So we are hoping that this will stabilize at around 3 lakh tickets per day. So that is as far as ticketing is concerned. Catering, yes, there is a lower demand also. And from our side also, we have imposed some restriction, like only ready-to-eat meal will be served. Cooked meal we are avoiding currently. And demand is also less. So, and tourism, yes, tourism, frankly speaking, there is no demand as such, no noticeable demand. But yes, once the fear goes away, then tourism will also pick up, we are hopeful.
Indian Railways has decided to start running 40 pairs of new special trains. This happens from 12th September 2020. This is some part of relief. Any timeline for any other trains reopening? Any adverse impact in supply chains due to this sort of issues that the entire railway industry is also facing in now?
This running of trains is purely within the domain of railways. We have no say, and obviously railways also must be looking into the occupancy and utilization pattern. And as and when the demand goes up, obviously they will introduce more and more trains and try to restore all the trains as quickly as possible.
Where do you expect margins to head? Do you think margins will be significantly compromised?
Yeah, it will be, because number one, turnover will be much less compared to earlier periods. And there are so many constraints within which we'll be working, plus a lot of precautionary measures will have to be taken. So margins will be impacted, at least in short term. But then we'll work out modalities to overcome that.
All segments of the business, of course, have been impacted on account of the lockdown, but the biggest impact has been seen in the tourism segment, where revenue has plunged to 2.9 crore rupees. Do you think that we are likely to see a recovery come in here? Do you think that we need some more measures from the government as well to help boost domestic tourism in the country?
No, we are not looking for any help from government. Because tourism as such, you must be aware that people are even scared and they have fear of traveling itself. And tourism, somewhat which has picked up is in very niche area, like people traveling by their own means to high-end hotels. Somewhere it has picked up. But we are primarily in middle-class tourism and mass tourism. So that segment will take time.
Okay. Now, what is the outlook on your ticketing revenues? You've got some of the special trains which are currently running. How do you see your ticketing revenues help bolster your overall revenues? And do you think that there will be any alteration in the ticket prices in order to try and assuage the impact of the lockdown?
We will certainly salvage, but in how much time, that is the question. Ticketing all these special trains, once all the regular trains start running, then obviously, I mean, travel pattern returning back and COVID situation normalizing, vaccine coming. So all these things will decide the travel pattern. And accordingly, we will also be salvaging our position. We are confident and we'll do it.
Right. So the company has made a presentation for waiver of commitment charges, whether you talk about haulage charges or custody for operations of train to the railway due to inability to carry out operations. Do you think that you will get a waiver and hence you don't see any major provisioning for that in the future which will need to be made?
I think, I mean, we are in this discussion with Ministry of Railways and I'm hopeful that we'll get the waiver because the trains were not stopped by us, but it was stopped by them because of this pandemic. So we should be getting the waiver.
What is your outlook on Capex? What additional strategy is in place to overcome the situation to make sure that company's growth plan are not altered?
We are going ahead with our Capex plan, except for catering, where we are likely to have some change in catering policy, which may alter the business model. So, and other than catering, all other segments, we are going ahead with our Capex plan.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking our time for us. Always good to get perspective from you. On that note, we are taking a break. Coming back quickly, stay tuned. Nifty is up a good 86 points. It's a good start to this week so far.